Guys, look, I know with you went through the process with Bruce and our team. You guys covered like a lot of different areas, but what would you say are the top sort of 2 or 3 things that you guys found most useful for you in going through that planning process?
I think the budget planner, like it's such a simple concept, like on the surface, but actually breaking down all the ins and outs, like of your money, and kind of forcing yourself to really reflect hard on, well, how much money do I need to, or do I want to allocate towards unexpected costs, shopping, holidays, lifestyle, whatever it might be. It kind of prompted this sort of wholesale reflection in terms of like what's important to us as well. And that was a pretty eye-opening and positive experience as well, I think.
Definitely. Like it has made me realize that I spend a lot of unnecessary money on random crap.
I always told her that, but then I think it took the budget planner for her to be, I think it was, there's this like box in the budget planner that says, how much do you want to spend on shopping a fortnight or something like that? And then I think when the figure came back, she was like, oh, that's actually a little bit high, isn't it?
That's right, and you can't argue with a spreadsheet, right? A spreadsheet is a spreadsheet is a spreadsheet. Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that though, because you guys, I would say, without going into the numbers, like I would say that you save much like more proportionately than certainly the average Aussie. I think the average Aussie saves like 7% of their income. This is pre-COVID. I'm sure that number's bumped up a little bit since. You guys would be well in excess of that. So it's funny that something so simple can be so powerful, even for someone that's already doing something good in that area, or like doing so well in that particular area of saving and budgeting. And I know for me, and I know because we've taken so many people through that process now, that really savings and money management overall is good prioritization. And it's funny that when you sort of lift it up, 50,000 foot level and look at where you're allocating your cash, then sometimes you go, well, is that actually the highest priority for me? Is it the random crap, as you say, Nikki, on stuff, or is it actually, let's allocate more to the travel budget or the holiday, the home deposit budget, or whatever that is? Why do you guys think that was so impactful for you?
I think it's just writing it down. It's allowed us, like having it there in front of us, allowed us to really reflect on what we were spending on. Because I mean, before that, if you asked us like how much we were spending on this and that, we wouldn't have known. We had to like sit down and look at our accounts and look at our spending to actually work that out. Whereas before it was more kind of mindless spending as well.
And I think like in some ways it's like goal setting, right? You commit to putting aside this much money a year, so it kind of sort of hold yourself a little bit more accountable to it, especially since it's been quantified and qualified on a spreadsheet. I think that's what kind of has made it so impactful for us, I think.
Yeah, and I think that if I could like to sort of set from my experience with other people, that once you see it sort of once you see not only the budget and what the savings potential is, but then what that can actually do in terms of the other goals that you want to do over the sort of short, medium and longer term, then you sort of get this anchoring. And we do anchoring in like, it's a psychological sort of bias that impacts a lot of different areas of our life. When you anchor to your goals and you say, well, I can do this, then it's not just that you're saying no to hitting your savings target for the week, or you're saying yes to that little spending spree on a Saturday afternoon. It's that you're saying no to this other thing that is really important to you. But that's really really interesting, actually, to hear that was one of the most powerful things, just going through that savings planner and budgeting process. But I would say that from looking from the outside in, probably one of the things that I would have thought would have been the most impactful is just around the investing side of things as well. Do you think, is that how did the process impact your approach to investing and what you had on the radar there?
Yeah, so I think the step before that was some of the projections that you guys came up with, right? Like different scenarios, how we get to sort of the ideal endpoint, like where our goals are sort of aligned. And that really helped provide heaps of clarity. So I think Nikki was saying before, like we've known for a while that we wanted to invest in equities, right? And then you hear people talk about managed funds, ETFs, or, even picking your own stock, whatever it might be. But just being able to sort of see the rather conservative projections as well, and sort of see that even though they're conservative in nature, it would still allow us to hit these really important goals to us. I think that provided a lot of clarity and confidence with some of the decisions that we've made with respect to investing our money. And so I think that was a really key component of it all.
Yeah, and I think that you mentioned at the start about like looking at the investment markets and what's happened, and do we invest in crypto? Should we have bought Afterpay when it was $10? Like all of these things that are thoughts that cross people's minds.